What if a massive, decades-old bomber-ran aircraft designed in a completely different era of warfare could fly directly into one of the most heavily defended regions in the world, and come back without being stopped? No stealth, no invisibility, no advanced cloaking technology. It's just a huge aircraft, visible on radar, moving through contested airspace where modern air defense systems are specifically designed to detect and destroy threats like it. It sounds impossible. Today's world of advanced missiles, radar networks, and integrated defense systems, aircraft like this are not supposed to survive in hostile skies. And yet, that's exactly what happened. Recently, B-52 Stratofortress bombers operated in a way that shocked military analysts and observers around the world, flying missions over Iran in a manner that simply shouldn't have been possible under normal circumstances. This wasn't just another routine operation. It wasn't just about dropping bombs or completing a mission. It was a statement, one that revealed something much deeper about the battlefield, about control, and about what happens when one side gains an overwhelming advantage. Because when a non-stealth bomber can fly where it shouldn't, it means the rules have already changed. To understand why this moment is so significant, we have to look at the broader situation between the United States and Iran, where tensions have escalated into a complex and highly strategic conflict. In modern warfare, air dominance is everything. Before any large-scale operation can succeed, one side must control the sky's neutralizing radar systems, disabling missile defenses, and eliminating the enemy's ability to respond effectively. This process doesn't happen overnight. It requires coordinated strikes, advanced technology, and careful planning across multiple phases. Initially, stealth aircraft and precision weapons are used to target critical defense systems, weakening the enemy's ability to detect and engage incoming threats. Over time, as these systems are degraded, the balance begins to shift. Airspace that was once extremely dangerous becomes increasingly accessible, and that's where the unexpected happens. The B-52 Stratofortress, an aircraft that first flew in the 1950s, suddenly becomes relevant again in a modern battlefield. Known for its massive payload and long-range capabilities, it was never designed to survive in highly contested airspace without protection. But when the environment changes, when defenses are weakened and control shifts, its role transforms completely. Instead of staying at a distance, it can move closer, operate more freely, and deliver overwhelming firepower with precision. And that's exactly what makes this situation so unbelievable. It's not just about what the aircraft did, it's about what it reveals. Because when something that should be vulnerable becomes unstoppable, it tells you that the real story isn't the weapon, it's the control of the battlefield itself. To understand how something as unexpected as a B-52 Stratofortress flying deep into contested airspace became possible, you have to look at how modern conflicts actually unfold. War today is no longer just about armies facing each other on a battlefield. It is a layered, strategic process where control is built step by step, often long before the most visible actions take place. In the case of rising tensions between the United States and Iran, the situation evolved into a complex campaign aimed at one key objective: control of the skies. At the beginning of any modern air campaign, the battlefield is heavily contested. Nations like Iran invest heavily in air defense systems, including radar networks, surface-to-air missiles, and command centers designed to detect and destroy incoming threats. These systems create a protective shield, making it extremely dangerous for enemy aircraft to operate freely. In such an environment, sending a large non-stealth aircraft like a B-52 would be almost unthinkable. But modern warfare doesn't begin with these aircraft. It begins with preparation. The first phase typically involves stealth operations, low observable aircraft, and precision strikes designed to weaken the enemy's defenses. These initial actions target radar installations, missile launch sites, and communication systems. The goal is not immediate dominance, but gradual degradation. As this process continues, the defensive network begins to break down. Gaps appear. Coordination weakens. Systems that once operated seamlessly start to fail under pressure. This is where the balance begins to shift. The airspace that was once controlled becomes contested, and eventually, if the campaign is successful, it becomes accessible. This transformation doesn't happen instantly. It is the result of sustained effort, coordination, and technological advantage. And once it reaches a certain point, something remarkable happens. The rules change. Aircraft that were previously too vulnerable to operate can now enter the battlefield with reduced risk. This is the moment where the unexpected becomes possible. The presence of the B-52 Stratofortress in such an environment is not just a tactical decision, it is a signal. Signal that the battlefield has shifted, that control has been established, that the balance of power has moved in a decisive way. The idea of a B-52 Stratofortress flying directly over hostile territory like Iran is shocking for a reason. This aircraft was never designed for that kind of environment. First introduced in the 1950s, the B-52 is one of the oldest aircraft still in active service. It was built for a different kind of war, one where long-range bombing missions and nuclear deterrence were the primary focus. Physically, the B-52 is massive. Its large wingspan, heavy structure, and powerful engines allow it to carry enormous payloads over long distances. But these same characteristics also make it highly visible. Unlike modern stealth aircraft, it cannot avoid radar detection. In a heavily defended airspace, this makes it an easy target. In addition to its visibility, the B-52 lacks the speed and maneuverability needed to evade modern air defense systems. Advanced surface-to-air missiles are specifically designed to track and destroy large aircraft like this. Under normal circumstances, flying a B-52 into contested airspace would expose it to extreme risk. Because of these limitations, the aircraft is typically used in a different way. It operates from a distance, launching weapons without entering heavily defended areas. This allows it to remain effective while minimizing risk. It relies on other system stealth aircraft, electronic warfare, and suppression of enemy defenses to create a safer environment. So when reports emerge of the B-52 Stratofortress operating directly over hostile territory, it raises an important question. What changed? The answer is not found in the aircraft itself. The B-52 has not suddenly become stealthy or faster. Instead, the change lies in the environment around it. The fact that it can operate in such a way suggests that the threats it would normally face have been significantly reduced. And that is what makes this situation so significant. It is not just about the aircraft, it is about what its presence reveals. At a certain point in the conflict, something happened that caught the attention of analysts and observers around the world. The B-52 Stratofortress was no longer staying at a safe distance. Instead, it was flying missions that brought it directly into areas that were once considered highly dangerous. This was the unbelievable moment. A large, non-stealth bomber entering contested airspace and operating effectively. From a strategic perspective, this move carries significant meaning. It suggests that the environment has changed enough to allow such operations to take place. For the pilots involved, this is not just a routine mission. Flying into an area that was previously heavily defended requires confidence in the broader system. It means trusting that the threats have been neutralized, that support systems are in place, and that the risk has been reduced to an acceptable level. From an outside perspective, the image of a B-52 Stratofortress flying over Iran sends a powerful message. It is not just about the mission itself, it is about demonstrating control. It shows that the airspace is no longer as contested as it once was. This kind of operation also has a psychological impact. It signals to the opposing side that their defenses have been compromised. It reinforces the idea that the balance of power has shifted. In modern warfare, perception can be just as important as reality. The ability to conduct such operations does not happen by chance. It is the result of a carefully planned and executed strategy. Before a B-52 Stratofortress can operate in contested airspace, multiple layers of defense must be addressed. The process typically begins with stealth aircraft targeting critical systems. These initial strikes focus on radar installations and missile sites, reducing the enemy's ability to detect and respond. At the same time, electronic warfare systems disrupt communication and coordination, creating confusion within the defense network. As these efforts continue, the effectiveness of the air defense system decreases. Gaps appear, and coverage becomes inconsistent. This creates opportunities for other aircraft to operate with reduced risk. Over time, this leads to the creation of what can be described as an air corridor, a path through which aircraft can move more freely. This does not mean the area is completely safe, but it significantly lowers the level of threat. It is within this context that the B-52 Stratofortress can be deployed in a more aggressive role. The aircraft itself has not changed, but the environment around it has been reshaped. Once the conditions are right, the B-52 Stratofortress becomes a powerful tool. Its ability to carry a massive payload allows it to deliver significant firepower in a single mission. This makes it highly effective for targeting infrastructure, military bases, and other strategic objectives. Modern upgrades have also improved its capabilities. Precision-guided munitions allow it to strike targets with greater accuracy, reducing the need for large-scale bombing. This combination of power and precision makes it a valuable asset in modern operations. But beyond its physical capabilities, the B-52 also has symbolic value. Its presence represents strength and persistence. It shows that even older systems can remain relevant when used in the right context. The use of the B-52 Stratofortress in this way has broader implications. It suggests that one side has achieved a level of control that allows it to operate more freely. This can influence the overall direction of the conflict. However, it is important to remember that control is never absolute. Conditions can change, and new challenges can emerge. The situation remains dynamic, and both sides continue to adapt. What this moment ultimately represents is a shift, a point where the balance has moved enough to allow actions that were previously impossible. And in modern warfare, those moments can define the outcome. As this story comes to an end, what stands out is not just the image of a massive bomber flying through contested skies, but what that moment actually represents. The presence of the B-52 Stratofortress over Iran is not just about one aircraft or one mission. It's a reflection of how modern warfare has evolved. It shows that dominance is no longer defined by a single weapon or a single moment, but by the ability to shape the entire battlefield. Because when a platform that was once considered vulnerable can suddenly operate with confidence, it means something deeper has changed. It means defenses have been weakened, systems have been disrupted, and control has shifted in a way that allows the impossible to become reality. But at the same time, this moment raises important questions about the future. If control of the skies can change this quickly, how stable is that control? How long can it last? In conflicts like this, the situation is constantly evolving. What looks like dominance today can be challenged tomorrow. New strategies, new technologies, and new responses can quickly alter the balance once again. And that's what makes this story more than just a single event. It's part of a much larger and ongoing struggle, where both sides are continuously adapting. What makes the B-52 Stratofortress so fascinating in this context is that it represents both the past and the present at the same time. An aircraft designed decades ago is still playing a role in modern operations, not because it has changed, but because the environment around it has. And that tells us something important. The true power in modern warfare doesn't always come from the newest technology, but from how effectively everything works together.
If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to subscribe to Strategic Archive for more deep dives into real-time military operations, hidden strategies, and the moments that most people never fully understand. I'd also like to hear your thoughts. Do you think this kind of air dominance means the conflict is shifting in a decisive way? Or is it just one phase in a much larger battle? Let me know in the comments below, because your perspective might shape the next video we explore. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and share it with someone who's interested in how modern warfare is really fought. Because in the end, the most unbelievable moments aren't just about what we see happening. They're about what those moments reveal behind the scenes.